Hi there, and welcome to a very British edition of What Do You Know Wednesday. I'm Sam Owen, I'm an account manager here at Hanapin and blogger at PPC Hero. And today I'm going to be taking you through the Content tab in Google Analytics. So we're going to cover everything in the Content tab, just a quick overview of it, and then look at what you can find and how it will help your PPC campaigns, looking at site content, site speed, site search, the events tab, Adsense, and then finally a pretty cool tool in Inpage Analytics. So for any of you who don't know or are unfamiliar with analytics, the content tab's right there on the left hand side. If you click it, it should expand and look a little bit like this. The kind of point of it is to try and help you improve what's on your site and also see what pages your users are actually looking at and how they're interacting with the site. So the benefits of going through this really are giving you some landing page ideas, trying to help your page load time a little bit, doing a little bit of keyword research, and then finding out where people are bouncing from your site, seeing their user behavior and interaction, and maybe trying to get some tips as well for optimizing for conversion rate. If we click the Site Content tab in Analytics, what we can use this for is to develop a better understanding of how well our content addresses the purpose of the site. So we'll have a little bit of a look at the entrance and exit pages, the time on each page, and what the top content is on your site. So if we go through and if you click the Site Content Pages button, then here we have a table taken from that, and you can see I've sorted here by page views, and it just gives you a little overview of how the pages on your site are performing. So we can see like by page what's the most popular, how long people spend on each page, and then what the bounce rate and exit rate are. So for anyone who's a little bit unfamiliar, bounce rate essentially means the number of people who arrive and leave with no other site interaction. That's not necessarily a bad thing if you have a PPC landing page and all you have is a form sign up and then people leave. Your bounce rate is going to be very high, even though your conversion rate might be very high as well. But you know, if you're trying to find a landing page where you want people to interact with your site as a whole, then a high bounce rate is going to be bad. And exit rate, on the other hand, is just means like, was that page the final page of their journey through your site? So if it's a thank you page, again, that might not necessarily be a bad thing, but if it's a midway point through your conversion process, then it's not a good thing. So if we move on to look at exit pages, what you can find with this tab is where people left the site, and obviously the point of this is you can identify which pages are particularly bad for you. Maybe your cart is making people bail, maybe there's one page where some information's unclear. It can be pretty hard to find this out when you're just browsing through your own site, because often you know everything about your product. But you know, this will give you a pretty clear indication of where your users are getting confused on their journey. For example, it could be your second page is a information page, and then there's a sign up button, and everyone's bailing there because the information isn't very clear for them. So this just helps you identify where that's the case. Moving on, so site speed. This is another pretty important thing that often gets overlooked, I think. So from a recent Akamai white paper, 79% of users experiencing a slow site won't return. So that's pretty big in itself. Like a lot of us with PPC, we want to get recurring users visiting the site. And you know, if we've got a slow site, it's not going to work out very well for us. So 50% of users also expect the site to load within 2 seconds, which I don't know how realistic that is for you, but I think Google says under 4 seconds and you should be fine. So that's what we want to look at. At 3 seconds, site abandon starts to begin. And the kind of point of using this tool is that we can see if there are any issues with the site. Like perhaps you've got some server issues you didn't know about. Perhaps your conversion rate is plummeting and you want to know why. So here's an overview for the last few months from one of our accounts. And as you can see, like February and March running pretty smoothly, but either side of that, you've got slower months in January and April. So what you can do is you can look back over your AdWords account and see, like, in January and April, was my conversion rate worse? And if it was, then you can kind of say, okay, so there's something on the site that's a problem here. Like maybe there were some image problems, maybe there was a server problem that you need to address. But you can use this information to kind of take back to your developers, or just to work out if maybe you're sending people to different pages at those times and they're particularly slow. And then here's an overview. So one thing you might want to do is, if you have a lot of international customers in your e-commerce site, you might want to see by country what your site speed is like. So here, this is one client who does a lot of sales in Australia, and you can see the page load times a little bit slower than in the US, so it might be worth getting a server hosted in Australia, for example. And one thing in particular here, they were struggling with conversions in the United Arab Emirates, and if you can see at the bottom here, the page load time was really slow. So this is just another tool you can use to help identify if there are any issues on your site. Oh, and one thing to mention about the last page as well was that the sample size can be pretty small. So just because you might have had one person visit with a slow load time is not necessarily indicative. So make sure you get a good enough sample size. With the site speed, we've also got page timing. So we can see not just countries, but we can see if there's individual pages on our site where the load time is really slow. So, and then we can go back and attribute this and see if this is part of any kind of PPC funnels. So if, for example, the page I've blacked out there, that's number 1, if that was a key landing page for me, I'd know that that needed to be fixed. And you can just use this to try and identify like key areas that are, you know, maybe the code's broken or the images are too large. You know, and is this hurting your PPC? So the site search tab, this, just if anyone doesn't know, if you have a search box on your site, you can link this up with your analytics. I won't go into that now, but I'll leave a link just below this video for you to click on if you're interested. So yeah, so the point of the site search is you can see what it was people searched for using your on-site search functionality. For example, using this for keyword research and see if there are any navigation issues on your site as well. So we'll just have a quick look here. So here you can see all the terms searched for in the site search usage tab, and you can see how much time people spent searching, and search depth there means how many pages they went to after performing a search on average. So you can see the search term number 1, a lot of people clearly interested in that, spending a lot of time on the site. So it might be something you want to look at to apply it to your paid search. Could be that you don't have a campaign for that, and that you think, oh, actually this is something a lot of people will be looking for, and then you can kind of spin it out into your AdWords campaigns. So if we just look here by pages, you can see pages searched from. So what that would suggest to me is you can find where people get lost. So, you know, if you've got 1 or 2 pages with a lot of searches that, you know, that aren't your home page, because that's always going to have a lot of searches, then it would say that people are going along the conversion path but aren't getting to where they want to be. So it could be that you can use this tool to try and improve how you funnel people through your conversion process. And then again, you can see search terms by page on the right hand side here. That's pretty good for keyword mining, really. So if you know, if you're on, for example, a television's e-commerce site, and on the Panasonic televisions page there are a couple of model numbers which have a ton of unique searches, you know that you might want to spin out those model numbers to be exact and phrase match keywords in your PPC account, and also that you might want to make them kind of number 1 and 2 on your list of televisions on the page, because they're obviously what people are looking for and not finding. So moving on to the Events tab, this allows you to track user activity that wouldn't normally be accounted for in AdWords or in analytics where you'd normally look. So for example, if people come to your site and watch a flash movie, if they download a white paper, or anything like this, perhaps you want Facebook likes, you can use the events to track that. Again, I'll try and leave a link just below the video for you to look at how to do that, because you need some developer skills to do this. But it's pretty cool, because sometimes you might have a client who wants who all they care about is getting Facebook likes for their page, because they're trying to build a brand, and you can use events to track what campaigns people are coming from and liking pages, or all they care about is people watching a video. So here's a quick example of that, and there's the link, so I'll just leave that below for you. But yeah, these are a couple of events that we thought were important, and you can also assign a value to these, so just as you do normally with goals. And then you can see the events flow here as well. So if you're trying to see, like, do people coming in from Twitter normally leave Twitter comments, which would be fairly logical? Do they look at particular videos? Same for Facebook, same for all kinds of sources, and you can change the source to campaigns as well. For example, if you want to see from a PPC standpoint where people are coming from. So the other thing I'm just going to rush through here is the Adsense tab. So if you do have a Google AdSense account, you can link it to your analytics. I actually don't have any clients who do this at the moment, but I've done this in the past, and it's pretty useful. If you have a lot of traffic coming in and a lot of people clicking on AdSense links, you want to be able to attribute that revenue back to paid search. Because it could be that you have one campaign that's bringing in a lot of people who aren't converting at all, but they're clicking a ton of AdSense ads, and it's actually worth it financially for you to keep that campaign running. So you want to be able to know about this, and again, this is something you have to set up manually as well. So probably the coolest tool in the Content tab is the Inpage Analytics. So what this allows you to do is visually analyze your websites to assess how users interact with your pages. And it's pretty cool for all kinds of things like landing page optimization and seeing what links are popular and what content is visible and not visible and how users are interacting. So if we take an example here, this is for PPC Hero. So what we've got set is anywhere people have clicked, or where more than 0.1% of people have clicked. So you can see like 10% of people coming to our homepage have clicked the home button, which will take them straight back to the homepage. 2.4% care about the blog series. 0.2% there want to see more about Amanda. But on an e-commerce site, this can be pretty great information, because you can see where people are bailing, where people are not going where you expect them to go, and where people are following the funnel nicely. And you can change that clicks to goals, to see where people who are ending up either filling out a form or buying something, what direction they head in. And we've used this report to tell us more about like how we need to advertise, what landing pages we want to go to, and one of our account directors here at Hanapin, Rob Boyd, wrote a great article the other day about using this for your mobile campaigns, because often it can be that people coming in on mobile but click on very different things to people coming in on desktop and laptop searches. So you can kind of see like perhaps they don't go where you expect them to, which is what we found for a few accounts, and it can be pretty useful for analyzing what you actually want to make a big deal of in order to get conversions. And then another thing, if you do load this up in your browser, and then you click to a new tab, if you've got Chrome or Firefox, and you load up the site, it should bring up a full page version of this, which is a bit nicer and clearer. And there we have it. Thank you very much, folks. It was a bit of a rush, but if you want to leave any comments, I'll try and get back to you if there was anything that was unclear. Thanks very much. Bye.